Welcome to the Growth Room with David Daniels. Today, we're incredibly fortunate to have Clifford Watkins, the visionary founder and chief people officer of Circle Strategies Incorporated. Clifford, with his Northeastern University MBA, is a lauded fractional human resources and people operator who has a passion for helping entrepreneurs focus on growing their businesses. Today, we'll be diving into his unparalleled approach to HR provision and exploring the significant trends he's observing in the industry. Clifford, it's a pleasure to have you. How are you today?
I'm great, David. Thank you. It's excellent to be here. Appreciate this.
Super, super. Clifford, can you share a little bit with the audience about your background and your role at Circles?
Yeah, sure. So I got started in the HR field after college. My first job was with one of the big international consulting firms. Back then it was called Watson Wyatt. Now it's called Towers Watson. I worked there for about 9 years and got taught everything from a senior consultant about consulting and how to be a good consultant, understanding all of the ins and outs of what they do in terms of HR consulting. And then after that, I thought, I don't know what it's like to actually work for a company in HR. Like we're advising people, like what are they going to do with it? So I went to work for a big company, 21,000 employees. I worked on the HR team. I had an incredible mentor. I worked for them for about 8 years. And then I realized, I actually miss the consulting part. Like I miss the diversity and talking to different companies and solving their problems. So I went back to consulting for another 7 or so years to a medium-sized consulting firm, and they sold to an aggregator. And at that time, I was um, VP of business development, and I didn't want to go be part of another bigger entity. So I said, time to go do this on myself, on my own. So I partnered up with a gentleman, and we were originally called Ipswich Bay Advisors. And in 2019, we separated because he was focusing on retirement plans and I was focusing on HR, and the SEC rules were just so complicated. Clients just got very confused about who did what. So I said, no problem. He said, no problem. Let's separate. I rebranded to Circle Strategies, took my clients, took my team. And so that was in 2020. So I've been doing, let's call it fractional HR since 2008.
Okay.
And so that's where we are today.
Nice, nice, nice. What does a typical day look like for you?
So I do a lot of the business development, and then I also step into some, higher level HR problems with some of our clients.
Okay.
Um, and so those could be somebody's getting terminated, and they hire us or they want us to manage the termination and create the severance and ensure that the pay is done correctly and talk to the employee and do the actual termination so they're not involved. So I'd step in with our senior HR business partner to do that together and make sure there's no issues because that's extremely tricky. Those are very, very tricky. Sometimes I get involved when somebody's hiring somebody and they need like an employment contract, and I'll work with the employee and negotiate what the company wants to offer them, and be the go-between with the senior HR business partner. Sometimes companies want strategy, so they've decided to expand to another part of the United States and they need help figuring out how are they going to staff the group, or if they're building a manufacturing plant. So, for example, we have a client that's located here in Massachusetts, but they bought a property in Illinois, and now they're going to, instead of manufacturing all their products overseas, they're going to manufacture them in Illinois. So we need to help them figure out who gets hired, what's the staffing infrastructure, how do people get trained, how are we going to pay people, what's it going to cost them from salary, that kind of stuff. So I work with the senior HR business partner to make sure plan is good and that they can execute on it.
Right, right. With everything that's going on in politics these days, is staffing on a like a bottom rung level? Is it more challenging these days, or is it easier, or is it the same? How does that go?
Okay, this is a two component answer. If you're in a part of the country that is having some growth, staffing is booming,
Okay,
okay? But this is the second part. It is struggling. The whole process is struggling because with AI and the people applying online,
hmm,
there are tools out there that automatically send applications on your behalf.
okay,
And so now the companies who get these applications have to determine whether that's real or not.
all right,
And you can now create a resume with AI that says everything that the job description wants, but you have half of the experience.
right,
So you got to figure it out
right.
whether one, the resume is real, or two, is the person telling you everything in the interview.
No doubt, no doubt.
So that part's broken right now, and it's just making, so just think of it like a funnel. Like the funnel is so clogged. People are getting hundreds of resumes and applications for a job, but there might be one person in that group that's qualified. And so it takes recruiters a really long time to figure that out. Just as a side note, we saw this happening last summer, and because our clients ask us to recruit for positions. And so I did some research and I found a way to produce candidates that are working and meet all the requirements of the job description, um, like within hours.
Good.
So we got access to the biggest database that there is, and our software engineer wrote a program I, it's an AI prompt where the recruiter can just type in and say, I need someone who's a coach and for our learning and development team, and they've had experience working with the NFL or sports teams, and they've also been able to negotiate contracts and understand how contracts work. You can put all of that into the prompt, and it gives you the people. And now it's up to the employer to go after these people and say, hey, would you be interested in learning about the job?
No doubt, no
So
doubt.
that's speeding up the process significantly, where recruiters are able to just say, "Oh, great, I've got this list now." That's half the time.
Right, right. Is that one of the major shifts that you're seeing in the industry where
Yes,
HR is mainly going after people as opposed to just putting out a job and letting them come to them?
yes. It depends. Like in general, I would say yes. But of course, it also depends on the job. So,
Right, right.
if they're entry level jobs or middle management jobs that are very, general and it's good, you can put a posting on and you get some really good candidates. So yeah, that part still works, but it's just time consuming.
I got you. I got you. Is there any other big shifts in the industry that's impacting your business or growth strategy at all? Would
Um,
you say?
I would say the other one is that historically, our consulting services have been HR operations, and then there's also HR strategy. And so, like coaching and some of the stuff you do, and um, also like organizational design and things like that. There is becoming much, much more of a shift and a separation between the two. So companies are now hiring like VP or director of operations, HR operations, and they don't do anything about strategy, planning, uh, training, anything like that.
Okay.
That's all done now by the chief people officer.
Gotcha. Got
And it's starting to happen. It started like a year or two ago. And so HR operations people are just about payroll, benefits, employee relations, just do anything that's transaction oriented. Those that's where the split is going. And I think that's going to be a good thing. I actually do think that's a good thing, just especially from the leadership perspective, because it's very hard to find somebody who's a chief people officer that's really, really good at HR operations and vice versa.
Right.
So that helps organizations who are able to do that, split the role.
Nice, nice. What's working well with you right now as you navigate that and possibly what's been frustrating at all?
So what's been frustrating a lot is, the political situation has really affected employers, and their necessity to outsource to a fractional HR company.
Right,
We typically work with like 50 to 200 employees in a company, and that's usually got like a CFO or like a HR administrator in those roles, and it's just too much for them to handle. And so we take on some of the role, which is payroll and benefits administration. Or if it's a small startup company, we just do everything. And that relieves the CFO significantly. But, it's a nice to have, and so when there's uncertainty in finances for the company, they pull back.
right.
And so we saw a big downturn last year, and that's been frustrating to bring more clients on.
Mhm.
Um, and so you just got to work extra hard at doing the new business development and things like
No
that.
doubt. No
But
doubt.
I think it's changing.
Right, right, right. So would you say that new business development metric is the main thing that you're focusing on improving right now, or would it be something else?
No, yes, nothing else, nothing
Gotcha.
operationally,
Good.
all good on the fractional HR. But yeah, new business development is
I
really
got
tough right now
you. I got
because I think also, this, like the way people buy today is way different than the way we used to buy before COVID.
Right,
And especially in this business, it's such a relationship building business that you have to be able to connect with the person
right,
and really trust them
right. No
with what
doubt.
you want to do. And it's hard. It's hard to build trust on Zoom.
No doubt. No doubt. Where would you want to see Circle Strategies be in the next 6 to 12 months?
I'd love to be able to double our revenue. Really,
Yes.
that would
Yes.
be great. Um, yeah, it's just yeah, and it's also hard that I'm just the only one,
Right.
and it's doing new business development. And we rely significantly on strategic partners to bring us business. So that's mostly what my focus is, building more strategic partner relationships.
No, I got you. I got you. Well, I think that'll work out well for you. So this has been great. This has been great. I think you said a lot here that be able to help a lot of founders and CEOs, in a similar phase of business as you are, Clifford. And I really appreciate you being here for these few minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, David. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
No problem.